Property Prosperity is a step-by-step guide on how to purchase high-performing investment-grade property while maximising returns and reducing risk in the process. As a professional buyer advocate, I provide examples in the book of how investors are vulnerable to free advice and explain what that's about. And in reading the book, it could be the difference between somebody earning or losing potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars over the longer term. So the 7 steps in the book: fixing your money mindset, understanding your risk profile, developing a tailored strategy, engaging the right experts at the right time, researching, searching and assessing the right type of property, negotiating the deal itself, and then reviewing your portfolio annually. I've seen a lot of investors buy the wrong type of property and lose financially as a result. And in Australia, I'm quite concerned about how most property is sold. So we actually have a lot of property spruikers and project marketers and developers who actually provide very biased advice to investors. And in Australia, there's no requirement by ASIC for a property advisor to have any kind of formal qualification or even a minimum standard of education when they provide advice. So when investors are dealing with people that don't have qualifications or even minimum standards of education, they're actually quite vulnerable and they're really putting hundreds of thousands of dollars of their hard-earned money at risk. Definitely first-time investors who are embarking on buying property for the first time. So this is a really good way of making sure that they're ticking all the right boxes along the way as they go. But also people who might have actually already bought a few properties, have them in their portfolio. They could have actually bought the wrong property for their risk profile, or they could have a property that's not performing and not understand why. So they'll benefit from learning how to review their portfolio and then how to do research and assess what's actually in their portfolio to determine whether or not it continues to have the ability to grow in value, to earn a really good income, or whether or not it might be a bit of a dud and they need to do something about it. Firstly, they'll be able to understand what their personal risk profile is so they can develop a strategy specific to that. And what that means is they'll actually be able to buy a property that's matched to their profile, which means it will be a stress-free experience for them. Secondly, they'll understand what experts to engage at what point along the way. And this is usually information that a selling agent won't provide them with, because that would actually make their job harder to sell them a property. And then finally, they'll understand what research they need to do and what questions they need to ask before they buy a property to ensure that they're actually going to end up with a high-performing investment-grade piece of real estate. They can download it from the website propertyprosperitybook.com.au, or they can buy a digital or Kindle version at amazon.com.